This is IBM Museum, and I still have that IBM 7496 custom terminal executive workstation on the bench behind me. And I'll have to even look at how the last video ended, to where I was a little bit thrown. I didn't get any video out of the monitor, but there's the raster scan that's there. The monitor doesn't smell, it smells new. The electronics smell new. And it doesn't smell like anything is burnt or anything like that. And especially for just seeing that raster scan and it filling the whole screen when you turn up the intensity, that's rather hopeful. It doesn't show any character input, but that can be that cable in there. And of course, it's going to go through for the next step to open that up. And I can even do a little bit of preliminary stuff by going through and with a continuity meter, checking those video inputs for something, because it may be something as simple as a connector inside the monitor where that cable comes in from ultimately the MUL 30 planar, could be detached inside there, or something else. And going through, if I don't get particular resistance readings from that, I get opens for everything, then I kind of have an understanding that a connector or something else may be wrong. So I'll go through and do that on video, but not on this one. This video is actually returning back to a little bit of a topic that I've had previously. I think I did at least one video on it, and I committed to a lot more. And that is, as I went through and I went over 1,000 subscribers, I always want to give a shout out to other channels. In particular, the channels that may just be getting a start or have a low subscriber number, because I know it's a struggle. It's to get a start on YouTube, to get people that aren't aware of you to knowing about that you're putting up video content for whatever it is, be it retro computers, be it the current IT world, and of course a lot of popular topics. You know, Mark Rober filming squirrels in his backyard and editing the video. He's got a lot of subscribers. People just love that content. But some of the side areas can not get as much attention, and it's even hard for a current channel. You look at, you know, if Mark Rober were someone else and doing a video, just getting started on YouTube and doing a squirrel video, how would that gain the viewership and especially the subscribers? There's a lot of YouTube views that go through when you put a video out, but that may not necessarily translate to subscribers. And I do want to say, for all the channels that I'm going through and referencing here, I am subscribed to those channels. I'm very interested in those channels growing in subscribers. I like the content I watch for. That's the reason I'm subscribed. I like to see when they drop a new video, it's up there. But YouTube even prevents me, and I'm thankful that I gained the ability to make community posts at about 600 subscribers, because before that it seemed to be about 1,000 subscribers is when that came on. And I really look forward for that, to be able to make just posts. I think YouTube, even when I was below 1,000 subscribers, even when I had gained the ability, I think I was able to do 2 posts. I think when I went through to make a third post on one day, it just blocked it and said, I'm not doing that. And I'll have to see if I can do above 3 community posts per day Of course, I'm not going to go through and misuse that. And that's why YouTube goes through and identifies that. But I'm not sure where exactly YouTube has that set at for making community posts. In another area, tagging a channel. Because I'd love to tag a channel. And I'd love to go through, and if it's a related YouTuber that's doing content that I appreciate, I'm all for going through and being able to tag that channel. But YouTube also limits that, especially for the little channels. You can see there, I mean, when you start going through and doing an @ symbol and typing in a channel name, YouTube is going to come back and not show everything, every channel match for that as you're going through and trying to tag a channel. But I'm not able to tag even these starting levels of the YouTube channels that I'm going to lead into this with. And I'll go through and I'll try and pause the video and bring them up, just a brief thing up on the screen. I don't necessarily want to explain content. I want people to go through and check them out. Watch a couple videos, or at least one, and go through and just see if that you feel that content, just like I have, is good enough to subscribe. And please subscribe if you find that worthy as well. You get a little bit more notifications when the new videos drop and everything else. But, I go through, my list for subscription is just extremely long. And even if someone has a few videos out there that I like, it doesn't necessarily even have to be in the retro PC side or anything like that. I'll go through and I'll subscribe to the channel and show my appreciation that way. And that way I can get notified. I don't care if they go through and, if they change direction. I think Eli, the computer guy, you remember him? He's come back on and he's gone, and he's left his titling for his channel the same, but he's gone off in a whole tangent direction. He should change his channel name. I'm not subscribed to him. He dropped out of YouTube. He I don't know if he just didn't like what was going on or whatever else at that time. And well, he's back on the scene. But even for that, you have the option later on to go through and unsubscribe from the channel. I don't want to give too much, just be really lengthy here. Let's go into this, and I'll bring up the channels one by one, and even try and have the channels shown on the back screen here. And of course, I'll always go through and link them in the video description here. That is a hard link. I'm going beyond mentioning, and the channels that can do that, to go in and they have the ability to tag and link in, or even a very good channel that's got, I don't know, 1.24 million subscribers or whatever. I mean, if they go through and they mention a smaller channel, it doesn't really do anything at all. It's going through for the hard links to those channels. And my own channel, I attribute a lot of my subscribers came in. I hope they're still with me. I'm even attributing that it could be as high as a third or a fourth of my subscriber base came in from just those hard channel links that Curious Mark went through and did for my channel. And it helped me immensely. In fact, it lifted my spirits that I was able to go through and interact with a larger channel, and it gave me an opportunity to gain a lot of subscribers. And I understand he does a whole different thing in a lot of regard, but some very fascinating stuff, and has some close associates that are there with him. They're just working on some really amazing stuff. You want to see stuff about the moon landing communication system, how that's set up, and going through details and all that. And there's going to be more interaction. I even got an adapter here, and it's funny because I did a brief video back when just to prove that I had this adapter in the early times of my channel, just in working with someone else that I went there and showed this just as proof that I had it. But we're looking, and this is really tucked in the bag pretty good. Anti-static bag, by the way, people. Oh, it's hooked. But this, let's take it out of the anti-static bag to show it. It's a P370 adapter, microchannel. And amazingly enough, keyed for a 16-bit microchannel system as well, this keyway. But, you know, all connectors for that 32-bit slot as well. And that's probably where it comes into the true use of this. But this is unobtainium for 20 years ago. Was hard to come by one of these boards. And there's some components I need to add in here. There's some SIMs that go in these, and it does have some base memory in here as well. But this is ultimately going to Curious Mark. And, you know, as soon as I have it relatively complete on the hardware side, we can work on arrangement. I don't want to lose ownership of it. I just say it's a long-term loan. He can go through and at least he's putting it to use, because for the last couple decades or however long I've had this board, it's set, you know, it's been in this anti-static bag and pulled it out a couple times, but that's not the place. I mean, it needs to get put back to use. So there's going to be interaction. I'll undoubtedly gain more subscribers from that interaction. But let's get started for me showing these other channels that I'm talking about. And the first channel I want to talk about is Computing with Cherokee. And I confess, I've got a bias here because I talked to her today. I'm a friend of hers. I've known her for years, and we had a nice chat today. I've been aware, and I've tried to be a cheerleader. I'm aware that she has a very busy life, very accomplished lady that has just, I mean, she's got everything going for her. Smart, brilliant, going through. And these are personal phrases I'm going to put this in. I mean, I'm not going to go this personal for some of the other channel recommendations that I show, and they're going to go, whew, you know, they avoided. But it, you know, she's going through, and the YouTube channel side is it's put, you know, in her busy life. It's just something that she wants to do. And of course, the time and everything else that it takes sometimes can be a little bit there. But it's a great aspect, and especially for into the tech that level that she's in and what she teaches, it's a great location to be in for the industry. And I think the channel, it's going to grow in time. It's just awareness of people knowing and subscribing to her channel. So that is the first channel I recommend. I'll put the link in the video description, and you can go through and check out what she has. Okay, the next one is, it's like a hashtag. It's the hashtag or the pound sign unwrapped, and then pound sign legacy media computers. I think it's primarily the unwrapped angle of going through a lot of the styling like I do of my production. Just turn the camera on. Let's get rolling. Let's do whatever it is. Let's go with whatever comes up. And I may have to go through, I'll briefly hide my webcam just to go through and show just the background for what he has on this channel right now. And, you know, even for the latest video, it was Model 20, PS2 Model 25, and didn't come out. Just like some of my video content, you know, I go through and encounter faults and everything else, and counter this executive workstation that just throws up just every possible step for me to go through and to get just as simple as a working planer in there that posts correctly and displays video on the system. It's not a complex system or anything like that. But, you know, that didn't go right, but he went through, and it's a chance to go through and see and hear the operation of that system. And so, you know, I enjoy that as well. And that's how it is. That presentation style for me is just going through and recording, and warts and all, you're going to see it. And so go through and check out. He's done some unboxing from items that he has received from Computer Reset. And he went through even more steps than what I had to go through because he had to so far away to fly in and have the items shipped to him to go back. He can't take all that on the airplane. And he had a bunch of, in fact, there's some items that he came across. I was like, later on, like, I'm jealous. I'm like, where did you find that? Because I know that there's more there, and that's why I'm doing another trip. I mean, he was probably able to make only that one trip to Computer Reset, and that probably took a lot of planning, but he came down. I'm able to do more than one trip. I'm going to try and do a second trip. Who knows if we come into a third trip. I'm going to try to go in a bigger vehicle this next time, take even more. Maybe that dual time slot, maybe I'll have to be loading stuff at lunch as it is. But I plan on going again. And so, again, I met Daniel. I've gone through, I've sent him IBM items before. So, you know, there's not necessarily a bias there, but I've met him in person. But I think a great channel otherwise. So I'll have that linked in the video description as well. And next up is Retro Mail. And I found his channel. It's been maybe even as long as, I don't know, a year ago, at least several months. But I immediately just love the content that he was going through, and the exuberance that he had in presenting it. And I just thought it was fantastic, especially for someone that seems to be so young, looking at retro gear. I'm going to go through and I'm going to hide my internal webcam again, and just an amateur retro channel. That's all, you know, I just think that's a neat thing of going through and just whatever you're interested in and going through and creating a channel. And he even goes through and he's got this trailer right up in the channel. I mean, gone a little bit further with me for the home screen, and I need to go through and organize my homepage at YouTube quite a bit and get it a little bit more the way I like. But it's worthwhile just to go through and see what the channel has up and consider subscribing if you want to. These first three have been the small channels. As you can see, or you've seen the counts of the subscribers go through. And as I say, I'm entirely prevented from tagging these channels if I do a community post. YouTube just doesn't let me. They have, I don't know if they count videos, they count subscribers, whatever it is, then I can't do it. But I'm gonna have the link to the channel in the video description here. Okay, and next up, and we have a very similar presentation style again, of just like the chip is named from Intel, or lowercase I, 80386SX is the name of the channel. And, you know, I've been where I've gone through and commented on videos from the channel, and I've received comments back. In fact, that's, I think, how I became aware of the channel. But it's, even though it may not even necessarily be a shared interest a lot of time, as you can see, hiding my internal webcam again, you know, it's got that compact label. I like to joke around with RetroCheck Chris, who's been my cheerleader for the time I've had the channel, in going through and favoring those compact. We had before we went to VCF East, we had that little short thing that Chris wanted to do to with each of us wearing our, you know, him wearing the compact shirt and me wearing the IBM shirt, and, you know, going through, or at least I had an IBM shirt on. I can't remember. He's even got t-shirts and stuff that he's already developed for his channel. But has that, you know, I'm not limited to IBM systems, but I favor them a lot. But I thought the content here, it's the same thing, it's the same level. And maybe there are, you know, potential subscribers that are kind of half interested in my channel in the same way. IBM stuff, I like compact. Well, here's a channel. And so consider subscribing to that as well. I really, I did a little bit of egging on, and the channel has grown very well for the span of time. And a lot of, as I say, a lot of the same production are throwing a very busy schedule of doing videos almost on a daily basis, because that's what us small channels, I still consider myself small, have to do a lot of the time to go through and just to get our channels noticed out there and try and get things going and grow in subscribers. But when 386 subscribers, I had the luck of the timing and doing a little bit of a special and everything else. But the channel went through that so quick that there wasn't a chance to do a particular presentation or to commemorate 386 subscribers.
Had a 3200
and the
plus
next
Barton,
channel
and,
up
I really
is
love that Barton system.
V-Switch
Had a 9800
Zero.
Pro, and it was my first
And
pretty serious
I became
high-end
aware
gaming system.
of the
And I even did
content of
some
this
custom
channel
water cooling
through
for it
Twitter,
back in the
actually.
day, so lot of
went
good
through
memories
and
there. But again,
put
a
on
lot
some
newer
Twitter
than
posts
sort of
and
what
really
interests me
checked
these
for
days.
who was following who.
But anyway,
And
I'm still really
quickly
looking
kind
forward
of
to putting this system
notice
back
the
together.
channel content.
Some of the parts
even
here
a
are
particular
things that I
topic
have
that just
used in the
pulled me in
past,
quick.
so it's kind of fun revisiting
And
them and
so
also trying out
this
something
is
a bit.
another
So
great
this is the motherboard I'm going
mid-level
to be using
channel,
here. It was actually
getting up
not
to the
originally
point
the
of
board I
about
wanted to use. The board I
halfway
got
to
for this build off
1,000
actually turned out to be
subscribers.
bad, and I'll show you
So
guys
just in that
what
coming
that
into
board was and what it
stride
looks
and
like in a bit. But this
doing
is
some
the
things, as you
Asus
can see here,
A7V133.
very good
So this board
lead-in
was
video.
released in, I believe,
Man, I
early
need to do that
2001, I
stuff
think
too.
February
Very
or something like that.
professional
And it's based on the very
aspect
popular
of
one
how
at
the
the time, the
channel is
KT133A chipset.
So go through,
The
look it over,
KT133
and
came out
consider
before it,
subscribing.
and really
Now,
the only
it's
difference
important to
between
note,
this
even
A
as you
version
see
and
me
the
hide the
previous is
webcam and
the,
things like that,
support for a 133
the
megahertz
subscribe
FSB.
button being
When I say 133,
red
it's
right
actually
beneath
a
my
data
image in
double
this
rate
case.
FSB, so it would be 266
I am
megahertz. So
subscribed
this
to these
could
channels,
support some
but
of
this
the
is
newer
through
Thunderbolt
OBS
chips
software
with,
that doesn't
that
go through
FSB.
and use
One of the first things you'll see that looks really interesting is this
that's of course
VRM
with your
daughter
login
board that's
information or
here.
anything
So
else. They
all
have a
of the
separate
VRM
browser
components are
capture.
actually sitting vertically on
I
this
even need to
little
see
board,
how that registers on the
except
site
for this
sometimes.
couple capacitors
you
that are
go
here,
through
but
and how
I'm
it's
not sure if those are
identified.
directly related
But
to CPU
it's
power or not. But
it's not a browser
anyway,
with
most of it
login
is on that
information.
board, and that sort of clears up the socket area. I
Chrome,
believe that was the
Firefox,
intention
Internet
because there
Explorer,
were some issues
wherever you
when
use.
people
So
started using
it's
much
not
larger
going to
coolers
show
on boards around
me
this time.
my
so
subscription to the
having
channel,
it on
but
that,
I
that
am
board
one
seemed to
of
clear up the
those
socket area a little bit. Now there are some cons as well.
472
As you can
subscribers
imagine, trying to
to
recap
this
something like
channel.
this is a bit of a pain because you're going to.
So how this works,
And
it's using
next
some
up,
firmware called
in the
ESP
mid-range,
slip
kind of
router,
completes all the
which I
three
found
channels
on
that are in
GitHub,
that
open source,
mid-range
and I
category,
put a link down in the description
is
as well.
the old
So
mid.
I did not make this firmware, I
And
just kind of
certainly
stumbled
even
across
in my
it.
videos,
A lot of people
you've seen me take
have
the older
been,
systems I
let me
get
see, a lot of people
online
have been emailing me asking,
and go
hey,
to
do your modem support dial-up
theoldnet.com
networking like PPP, TCP/IP? And so far my
sign
answer
the
has
guest book
been
on
no.
that. There's another
But I'm
channel
looking
that
into it because I do
has
think it's
a
possible. I know the chip, the ESP
lead-in video or
8266 chip
introductory video
on this device has a PPP stack built in.
that plays as
So
you go
that's
there.
the direction I was looking.
And
then I came across a
the
protocol
placement, I
called
actually
SLIP,
should have had this
which is
one. I was
the
trying to go
serial
from
line interface
small
protocol.
to big.
Now it is a networking protocol
and
that
I
predates
should have had
PPP.
that placed a little bit
But
more
it's simpler and it's meant to run
before. I mean,
over
it has
serial.
less
For
subscribers
example, if you wanted to connect this
than
system
the
to the internet, you
previous
could
channel
plug
that I
a serial
talked
cable
about.
directly into a Raspberry
But
Pi and
same
then
way,
create a
maybe
network
that'll
connection between
have
them
more
out from there.
subscribers
And that
now,
is what I was doing for a
because
while.
people
I've got
can
my
go
Pi
through
under
and
my desk with a serial cable and a
subscribe to the
USB
channel if they
serial
they
adapter.
get that content.
And I was using the
Something
SLIP
that was
protocol on this machine to search
Just
the
like
internet.
I am
And then I
one of
started
those
digging in deeper into
263
ESP
subscribers.
SLIP firmware until I found this one.
So the next channel is Tech Ambrosia. And we're getting into the larger channels, the channels that are really kind of getting into their YouTube stride and very professional setup screens on their for YouTube channels, but just some fabulous content. And even though it's a little bit different from the areas that I look at normally, even the 3D printing aspects I've seen on this channel, just it's amazing. That's what pulls me in, going through and even to display or to show the display adapters, present them, have a in a stand that it's 3D printed is just amazing to me. And even some of the background, in fact, as some channels go through and have a blooper reel or have some short segments, I've seen that here. If it was blooper reel for my channel, it'd just be about everything to go through. You know, if I go through bloopers, in fact, that's an editing level of going through and setting aside the bloopers and editing them to the back and going through in multiple takes. I just run OBS and pause it. So a little bit different a presentation style, but wanting to put that professionalism into the channel that they have. And that's what a little bit of my challenge is for these 3 channels, as they're still below 1,000 subscribers, and to go through and put tags out for smaller channels that they enjoy as well. And especially I'm going to go through, as myself being over 1,000 subscribers now, and other channels that are larger, to go through the same sorts of steps. Put a hand out for the smaller channels, just as I've been helped to pull them along to get them more subscribers and help their channel grow. I'm going to go through, I should have actually brought up the background. I'll go through and I'll hide my internal webcam. So just very professional look at, at a YouTube channel. Even has a link, like I should do for a lot of things. Follow me on Twitter. Great idea. I try and be on Twitter and use that for the things that are possible there as well. Okay, next up, let me see if I can kind of cue up the start, the intro. It's not really all that, it wasn't bright, but this is the mainframe corner. And there's audio, there's not a very big speaker on that little system I have back there under my camera rig to display this. But the first thing you'll notice is that even though it's on YouTube, the channel titling, this is international. This is the mainframe corner. And I really love the content, especially for this video that's playing in the background. Even though it's in Spanish, it's subtitled in English. And my only contact, of course, directly, well, beyond the YouTube comments and things like that, has been on Facebook for the mainframe group there. But this video is playing in the background. So I'm about linking up an AS400 to an IBM mainframe. Am I interested in that sort of content? Yes. And I'll go through and I'll stare at a screen and watch for subtitles and try and understand, and go through if we have schedules to where I have my wife right there, poke her and ask her to translate something from Spanish into English that maybe the auto-generated subtitles didn't capture. But you can get a gist of the content. Very detailed, very professional view of how to do things, mostly on the AS400. And we've seen that for, the system over here, my AS400 9406-170. It's been a while since I've gone through. I've had it on for keeping the place warm. Even have the terminal still sitting on top of it. It's open face for that video capture that it does so well. But this is a little bit different. It's big iron content, but go through and consider this subscribing. Another one that's gone through the professional level, putting an intro video, and it's got that subscribe button right, in that video phase, so you can't miss it. Okay, and the third of those channels is Retro PC Durham, and as you can see here, they even do the new videos every Wednesday schedule. and has all those social media links and a wonderful nature, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and probably even a couple a Patreon link. And I'm trying to interpret. It'd take a little bit of study, but really another one with the YouTube trailer has gone through and getting under, less than 20 subscribers. I mean, 19 subscribers goes through and goes over 1,000 subscribers for this channel, and so I made the comment even there today on I think even the latest video said, hey, getting close to 1,000, and very good content as well. I've been subscribed for a very long time, and just in that YouTube orbit, I guess, when my channel was pretty small, of seeing comments or being able to go through the videos. And this is also international as well, for me at least, being in the United States. And the accent is not as noticeable, except for someone that's very familiar with how someone in Canada can sound. But I mean, I'm sure that they have jokes on various places in the U.S. as well, how someone from Boston or other places sounds, but I don't know if I have an accent in the Southwest United States, but this is the last of those, of the three that I have for the selection of the so-called bigger channels, the ones that are just below 1,000 subscribers. And in fact, and my channel isn't necessarily the 10th one that we're going through, but it's a good thing to have up on the screen maybe for this outro section. And it hasn't been about, my channel for this video, although I always do the outro and say, please consider subscribing, and talk about recommending to your friends for subscriptions. But you're here. I don't need to go through and link my channel into the video description. Just it's good for the outro. So if you enjoy this sort of thing, go ahead and click on that like button. And certainly I do hope that you're subscribed to my channel, rather than just viewing it. But I leave that up to you, whether you like the content or how you've gone through and found me on YouTube to be able to view this video. And I go through and I challenge the larger channels to do the same sort of thing, to put that hand out and help the channels that have less subscribers to what they're interested in. I mean, I've thought of even to the level of a video on what I'm watching, what I'm reading. I have a book selection of what I'm going through and trying to stay current with or learn about, from the old factor of a physical book, rather than going through and having a reader for like a Kindle or something else. But I like having these sorts of videos as well, to split that up. And don't worry, the 7496 is still back there. We're gonna get this machine where it brings up video on the screen for people to see and be operational as what IBM intended. Just that we're throwing a couple curveballs, and I'm trying to lead in, and especially I want to go through for the planar and getting it populated, getting a RAM deck on this, getting this in so it the board looks as much, like what is in there, and even for the aspect of looking at that, comparing that planar that comes out of there, and going through and benchmarking that to, why doesn't it have that bodge wire? Is that a missing trace? Does that go through and affect part of this? So there's going to be a lot more content on that. And of course, other topics will come up as well. We'll have other unboxings. So, that's a good place to go through and end. I'm glad that we just went right at 40 minutes. It's still a rather manageable video. I still do have to upload it, and with all those tags of the channels. And luckily, I went through and did some notes and everything else. I've got all those links. And I'll go through and have all that stuff in the video description. So click on them and go through and review the content that you have up. And please, just like you may be subscribed to my channel, consider subscribing to other channels. And certainly, and I understand you're not able to put links on my videos if, YouTube goes through and quashes that. But certainly I'm available out there, and if you have a channel, go through, try and contact me and give me a link so I can go through and check it out. I'm always happy to go through it and see what is on content on other channels and go through and spam myself, and maybe I can go through and do a mention in a future video. There's a lot of other channels that I'm still subscribed to that I went through and cut out of this list, and that's a hard choice for me a lot of the time, of deciding, who can I go through and promote for this video, and then having other videos that go through and will include those other channels. And there's even been a couple on this list that I've gone through and had prior videos and gone through and recommended those channels as well. So, but in any regard, like and subscribe to my channel. If you've not done so already, recommend it to your friends. Recommend these other channels to your friends as well if they're interested in that content. But this is IBM Museum. That's all I have for now. Thank you.